Are you ready to lose thousands of dollars by buying a home at the wrong time? Probably not. So let me teach you how to be prepared to buy a home in any market, whether that's today or a year from now. I'm going to discuss the current real estate market, interest rates, and where they might be going in just a few short months, the current inventory, the pros and the cons of buying now versus maybe a year down the road or even longer. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to discuss what you can do to prepare if you're not ready to buy a home yet, but you think you might be in 6 months, a year, or even 2 years from now. And if you have any questions while watching this video, please drop a comment and I'll make sure to respond, or check out the link in the description. You can call, text, email, or even book a call with me. I'd love to chat with you and answer any questions that you might have. As of right now, interest rates are definitely still higher than what we saw a couple years ago or a few years ago, but they have stabilized. Currently, we're seeing right around a 6.5 to even high sixes, like 6.8% interest rates, and they've kind of been at that range for quite some time now. Last year in 2024, 7 was pretty common. Now it's pretty common to see rates a little bit below that 7%. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be headed towards another 3% interest rate anytime soon, but it is encouraging to see that not only have rates come down just a little bit, but they're stabilizing as well. The good news is there's a lot of experts that are predicting that rates could come down even more in the next 6 to 18 months. Of course, we will be on the lookout for what the Fed decides next month when they decide if they're going to cut the rates. And I've mentioned in my last few videos, but just because they cut the Fed rate, that does not have a direct tie to mortgage rates, but it could lead to a decrease in mortgage rates as well. However, if you're someone who has been waiting for rates to come down before you buy a house, there's something that you might want to keep in mind. If rates come down even 1%, let's say they hit 5.8%, for example, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of buyers that enter the market. This is going to cause a surge in demand, which of course means that home prices are going to go up. So you might have been already saving towards that down payment on your home and you think you're pretty close now, but if rates were to drop something like 1% or more, then that down payment is not going to go nearly as far as it would have. It's estimated that for every 1% rates drop, there's another 5 million buyers that become eligible to purchase a home. That doesn't necessarily mean that all 5 million of those people are going to buy, but you got to think even if a fraction of those people buy, we're still talking about 100,000 or more people that have entered the market. In Cincinnati right now, we are in a seller's market because, not really because of interest rates, but because of the inventory. It's just been at historic lows. And while we are definitely seeing that increase compared to what we saw this time last year, it is still pretty low. But as that continues to increase, we will see a shift towards a buyer's market. The catch though is if mortgage rates do get cut by a significant amount, that could just send us all the way back to an extreme seller's market where we have been for quite some time. So one pro to buying now instead of waiting for rates to come down is that there's just less competition out there in the market. So you might be able to negotiate things like maybe you get a concession to fix the roof, or maybe you get closing costs paid for, or maybe you just get a better price. Now, of course, I did mention in Cincinnati we're in a seller's market, so you can only negotiate so much when the seller has more leverage, but that doesn't mean there's not deals out there. You just kind of have to look for them. If a home's been sitting on the market, then the sellers are definitely going to be willing to listen to any offer. You've probably heard realtors say before that you marry the home but date the rate. And I don't always love when realtors say that because it kind of feels like you're peer pressuring someone to buy a home. However, it does ring true. An example is if your mortgage payment is $1,846 and you have a 7% interest rate, but then you refinance to a 6% interest rate, you are saving yourself $182 a month. That is over $65,000 you are saving just in interest over the life of a 30-year loan. Now, I don't want this video to just be about, you need to buy right now, there's no benefits in waiting, because that's not true. There definitely are some benefits in waiting. For example, you might land a lower interest rate if you time it right. In Cincinnati, I mentioned how we're in a seller's market and we've had historically low inventory, but it's starting to flip and we're starting to see more homes hit the market. So if you wait, maybe we do get back to more normal inventory rates, and then you have more homes to choose from. You'll also have more time to save up for your down payment or maybe repair your credit score. I do want to mention that if the number one thing that's holding you back right now from thinking about trying to buy now instead of later is the cost that you need to have saved up for a down payment and closing cost, you might be able to get a home for cheaper than you think. Now, you're definitely going to need to have, I would say, at least $2,000 to $3,000, and that's just going to be to cover things like your inspection fees and appraisals and things like that. You'll also have an earnest money deposit, which is generally between 500 to 1,000, although that can definitely increase depending on the price range you're looking at. However, there are plenty of grants and down payment assistance options out there to help with down payment assistance. And if you have a great realtor, they will be able to negotiate, possibly having the sellers pay all or at least some of the closing costs. Even if it is in a seller's market, there are still ways to negotiate that. And I'd love to talk to you about that. I just had another realtor who was talking to me about how he had clients who had about 2,000 saved and they were able to purchase a home. So it is doable. I'm not saying it's going to be the easiest process. Your options might be limited, but it's definitely doable. All right, so if you are waiting, then let's talk about some ways that you can be prepared so when you finally are ready to buy a home, you are ready just to hit the ground running. The number one thing I'm going to mention is to get pre-approved. If you need a lender, my brokerage, Pivot Realty, we partner with a lender and we have some awesome loan officers that can walk you through everything, answer any questions you may have, and of course, I'll be there with you during that process. But I highly encourage you to also shop around different lenders, see what different rates they're offering or how they're going to help you with building up your credit. One thing I love about the lender we partner with, Luminate Bank, is I have multiple clients right now who can't buy for one reason or another, but the lender didn't just say, okay, I'll talk to you in a year from now whenever you're ready. They are literally walking them through, creating documents saying, hey, here's what I need you to do. You need to do this month. Next month, you need to do this. And it's helping them build up their credit. It's helping them save money for a down payment. And so we will literally walk you through the process, but I can't stress enough, go ahead and get pre-approved. Even if you think like, hey, there's no way I'm gonna get pre-approved right now, at least you have a game plan of what you need to do to get ready. So it might be things like working on your credit score or saving up for a down payment. It could also be something like talking to a local realtor like myself to help you come up with a game plan of when the best time to buy is. We're gearing up, we're heading into fall, and as we head into fall and especially winter, the real estate market really slows down. There's not as much on the market, but people just aren't buying as much. So sometimes it's a great time to find a deal. If you wait till the spring and summer, everyone is ready to buy. So there might be more homes on the market, but there's also more buyers out there as well. So it's definitely something to think about. And if you have questions about that, or if you just want to talk to a realtor and just literally just ask questions, I'd love to meet with you. So is now the right time to buy a home in Cincinnati or wherever you're watching this from? The truth is, it really depends. What's most important is just making sure you're in the know so you understand the trade-offs of waiting or buying now. If you're thinking about making a move, whether that is in the next couple months or maybe you're a year or even 2 years out, I'd love to meet with you and come up with a plan so that way you're ready to go. And a lot of times, when you say, hey, I'm not going to be buying anytime, it's going to be like a year or two at least. I know that seems far off, but what I've found is when you meet with a realtor and a lender and you get a plan together, it can help you get more excited for that goal of buying a home, and it helps you stay on track and stay focused. And maybe you do just go ahead and look at a couple homes here and there just to keep that excitement going so it helps you stay on that path to home ownership. I'd love to help you out and answer questions if you have any. My information is going to be on the screen, or you can check out the description. I have my contact information there, and I also have a link to book a call with me. So if you can't meet in person, maybe you're out of town or it's just more convenient for you to do a Zoom call, we can do that. We can do a phone call, email, text, whatever you're most comfortable with. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like videos like this, please do me a favor and like the video, and consider subscribing if you want more content, not just about Cincinnati, but just about real estate in general, and let me know if there's a video you'd like to see me make. Thanks.